Hi students, Santosh here. After completion of series of lectures on bridge and tunneling, now I am going to deliver my next lecture series on hydrology, which is important subject in civil engineering and all the time several questions asked in competitive type of examinations. This lecture might be useful for diploma level students as well as degree level students as well as students who are preparing for the various type of competitive examinations such as a GATE, ICS, UPSC and junior engineer level examinations. So first of all, I am going to congratulate you for subscribing my channel, and the students who have not subscribed my channel are requested to subscribe my channel as early as possible for their better prospects in competitive examinations. First of all, I am going to deliver my first lecture on hydrological cycle, that is first part, and second part is precipitation. First of all, everybody must know that what is the hydrology. Hydrology means the science of water. It is the science that deals with the occurrence, circulation and distribution of water on earth and on earth's atmosphere. That is hydrology. Hydrology means science, and that science, hydro means water and logy means or log science, so hydrology means science of water. Then classification of hydrology. Scientific hydrology is for academic aspects, and engineering or applied hydrology is for engineering applications. What is the scope of hydrology? Hydrology is useful in irrigation as well as water supply, as well as in flood control, water power and in navigation. Hydrology helps in determining the following factors: the capacity of storage reservoir is calculated by using the hydrology, magnitude of flood flows to enable safe disposal of excess flow. Hydrology is important. The minimum flow and quantity of flow available at various seasons such as dry season and wet season, or summer season, winter season and rainy season. It is useful. The interaction of flood wave and hydrologic structures such as reservoirs, barrages and bridges etc. to take suitable design decisions consistent with economics and other criteria to be taken in the given project, and it is useful for applying principles and theories to seek solutions to practical problems. It is also useful in design and operation of water resources engineering projects. So hydrology is much important in irrigation engineering as well as water power engineering. The supplementary sciences to the hydrology are the meteorology, geology, statistics, chemistry, physics, and fluid mechanics. So these all sciences are related to each other to derive the various principles. What is the historical development of hydrology and its classification? Numerous references exist in Vedic literature to groundwater availability and its utility. During 3000 BC, groundwater development through wells was known to the people of Indus Valley, that is Mohenjo-daro Sanskriti. First description of rain gauge and its use contained in Arthashastra by Chanakya in 300 BC, and it is also described by Varaha Mihira in AD 505 to 587 in Brahma Samhita. Egyptians knew the importance of stage measurement of river Nile in AD 15,000. Then we will discuss the important cycle. This cycle must know to all the people, but we describe it scientifically. That is hydrological cycle. It is the cycle followed by water in three phases. First is evaporation, second is the precipitation, and third is the runoff. The amount of water remain unchanged. For hydraulic equilibrium, inflow of water is equal to outflow of water plus water stored. And second equation is precipitation is equal to runoff plus evaporation. These equations are also known as water budget equations. Study of various aspects of water in terms of cycle is termed as a hydrological cycle. Steps: water from the ocean is evaporated in the atmosphere. Clouds are formed and by condensation it is again falls on earth's surface as a precipitation. As a part of precipitation is evaporated back into atmosphere and some part is intercepted by vegetation and some part move down to the ground surface. A portion of water that reaches to the ground through process of infiltration. The portion of infiltration as a precipitation which reaches the stream channel is termed as a runoff. Hydrological cycle is very vast and complicated cycle and it is also recirculating one. The evaporation and precipitation are continued forever and thereby a balance is maintained in between these two, and such a system of balance between evaporation and precipitation is termed as a hydrological cycle, and the knowledge of this cycle is useful in projects of water supply, irrigation and drainage, water power and flood control, and navigation work, etc. So knowledge of hydrology is very important, or hydrological cycle is very important. This hydrological cycle is explained in terms of diagram here. The diagram shows the evaporation from the ocean also. Evaporation from the ocean. If this part is termed as the ocean, then evaporation of ocean is shown. Then raindrop evaporation is also there. Interception is also there. Transpiration is also there. Transpiration is from trees also. Evaporation from the wind. Evaporation from the water bodies. This 5 number is evaporation from the water bodies. Evaporation from wind. Then runoff. Infiltration. Groundwater table. This shown. This is the groundwater table. Infiltration of the ground. This is infiltration of the ground below groundwater table. And inflow is equal to outflow plus water stored. This is the water budget equation. And this is nothing but the hydrological cycle. The sun is shown here. Also clouds are shown here which are formed by the condensation also. The precipitation is also shown from the clouds. Such a type of cycle is termed as a hydrological cycle. Then we will move to our second topic, that is precipitation. Precipitation, it denotes the all forms of water that reach the earth from the atmosphere due to condensation of the atmospheric vapor. The condensation of atmospheric vapor in terms of water is termed as a precipitation. Then different forms of precipitation is very important, and all the time these different forms are used in competitive type of examination. So first of all we must remember RSD and then GSH. That is the first letter of that precipitation form. R means rain. Rain is the principal form of precipitation in India. The water droplet or water drop size is more than 0.5 mm and up to 6 mm. So water droplet from 0.5 mm to 6 mm is termed as a rain. Then second is S means snow. Snow is the important form of precipitation and average density is 0.1 gram per centimeter cube. Then it comes drizzle. When water droplet size is less than 0.5 mm and intensity is less than 1 mm per hour, such a form of precipitation is termed as a drizzle. Then comes the glaze. G means glaze. When rain or drizzle come into contact with the cold ground at around 0 degrees Celsius, the water drop have ice coating. Such a ice coated water drop is called as a glaze or freezing rain. Then S means sleet. Frozen raindrops of transparent grain is termed as a sleet. And last form is the hail. Hail is the showery precipitation in the forms of lump of ice of size more than 8 mm. It may be termed as a thunderstorms also. These are the various forms of precipitation, and all the time it is asked in the competitive examinations. So please remember all these forms. Then we will discuss about the mechanism of precipitation. For precipitation, atmosphere must have moisture, sufficient nuclei present to aid the condensation, weather condition good for condensation, and product of condensation must reach the earth. This is important for the mechanism of precipitation. Then types of precipitation. First of all, we discuss the form of precipitation. Then we are going to discuss the types of precipitation. First is the conventional precipitation. This is most common in India and in tropical countries. On a hot day, ground and nearby air is heated. This causes the air to expand and rise by the convection. Air cools dynamically and turns in condensation and precipitation. So, heating of air causes the precipitation. Such a heating of air and condensation and convection is termed as conventional precipitation. Then second is the orographic precipitation. It is caused by lifting of air over mountains. Precipitation occur on the windward side of mountain. The side of mountain which carries the wind is called as a windward side, and other side is called as a leeward side. Then third type of precipitation is the cyclonic precipitation. It is caused by lifting of air from low pressure area or a cyclone. It is again classified into frontal precipitation and non-frontal precipitation. The frontal precipitation is that a surface separating the warm air mass and cold air mass is called as a frontal surface or front. Then warm front, warm air replaced by the cold air is called as a warm front, and cold front, cold air is replaced by warm air is called as a cold front, and such a type of precipitation is called as a frontal precipitation. Non-frontal precipitation is air from the high pressure region flows into area of low pressure region, which causes lifting of air from the low pressure area, and such a precipitation is called as a non-frontal precipitation. Then we will discuss about important topic in precipitation, that is measurement of precipitation. The precipitation, you must know that it is nothing but the rainfall. The rainfall is the depth of water in centimeter or millimeter that would stand on the earth provided it were not lost by evaporation or infiltration or any other matter. Means that is the depth of water received from the rainfall and which is to be not lost by evaporation, precipitation or any other matter. Then various types of gauges used for measurement of rainfall or precipitations are automatic and recording type of gauges, and second is the non-recording type of gauges. Non-recording type of gauges, the same Simon's rain gauge is very important, and it is used from the historical time or from the ancient time from the British. That Simon's rain gauge, Indian Meteorological Department adopted this gauge, mostly adopted for the rain gauge stations in the India. It consisting of the cylindrical vessel of 127 mm internal diameter, that is 127 shown here, that is 127 mm internal diameter, and 203.20 mm at the bottom. This is the bottom size. Funnel is provided at the top. Please look at this figure. This is the funnel. Funnel is provided at top and it is connected to glass bottle. This is the glass bottle and funnel is connected to glass bottle. Fixed in masonry or concrete foundation. It is fixed in, this is masonry or concrete foundation, this gauge. You must know the system. There is one vessel. Vessel contains bottle. On the top of bottle there is a funnel, and this all system is fixed in the foundation. And the readings are taken at 8:30 am and 5:30 pm Indian Standard Time. A rim of funnel should remain at least 305 mm above the ground. Rim means this is top of funnel. This should be 305 mm above the ground if this is the ground level. Then this is only the first type of recording gauge. Then we will discuss about the recording type of gauges. Automatic, they are termed as automatic or self-reading gauges. First is the weighing bucket type. Water or rain allowed to fall in the bucket which is set on platform. Increased weight of bucket due to rain causes the platform to move the pen arm mark on the graduated chart around the drum. Please look at this figure. This is the bucket. This is the bucket as shown in here. And if rainfall received in the bucket which causes this pen arm to move due to weight of water, and this pen mark is moved, this is weighing mechanism, and the pen mark is moved on clock driven record drum, and the mass curve is plotted, and the slope of mass curve gives the intensity of rainfall. Water or rain allowed to fall into the bucket which is set on the platform, and increased weight of bucket causes the pen arm mark on graduated chart arm drum to move, and rainfall record is shown by the mass curve. On the x-axis the time is plotted, on y-axis total rainfall is plotted, and the slope of curve gives the intensity of rainfall. The time is in days and total rainfall is in mm or centimeter. Then we discuss the second type of self-recording gauge or automatic gauge, that is tipping bucket type. It consisting of 300 mm diameter sharp edge receiver. The end of receiver funnel is provided. Under the funnel there is a pair of buckets is provided in such a way that when one bucket receives the 0.25 mm precipitation, it tips and bring another bucket under the funnel. So it is tipping bucket type of recorder. Tipping of bucket completes the electrical circuit, causes the movement of pen to mark on chart attached to the clock driven revolving drum. The mass curve is plotted, and it is not suitable for the measurement of snow. Tipping bucket type. Please look at this figure. Figure shows the receiver also. The figure shows the funnel also. Tipping bucket, that is pair of tipping bucket. This is the pair of tipping bucket which causes to complete the circuit. This is the storage tank, and measuring tube is also shown here. So please remember this diagram. Then third type is float type of gauge or siphon gauge. Working is similar to the weighing bucket type gauge. As water level rises in the container due to float, siphonic action starts and water is drained out. Pen arm connected to the float rod mark the amount of rainfall on the revolving drum. That is, float rod mark the amount of rainfall on revolving drum. Please look at this figure. This is the funnel, and from where we get the rainfall or precipitation, and this is the float, and this float, the movement of this float causes the pen arm to mark the intensity of rainfall in terms of mass curve on the revolving drum, and water is drained off by siphonic action. Okay. Then we will discuss about the advantages of recording type of gauges. Rainfall is recorded automatically and no need of attendant. Gives instant rainfall intensity at any time. Human errors are eliminated. They can set up in the region where living conditions are difficult. Disadvantages: it is costly than non-recording type of gauges, and mechanical defects are likely to be developed. That are the disadvantages of automatic type of gauges. Then we will discuss about the selection of site for rain gauge. It should be set in the open space. The distance between gauge and the object nearest, that is more than 30 meter. It should be installed on the level ground. Never be installed on the side or top of the hill. Must be protected from the effect of winds, and fence is provided around the gauge to protect from the cattle. Recommendation of rain gauge site as per IS 4986/87 1983. In plain area, one station for 520 square kilometer area. In hilly areas and heavy rainfall is expected, one station for 130 kilometer square. And in region where average elevation is 1000 mm above sea level, 2 stations and 1 station for 260 to 390 square kilometer area. Please remember these figures. These are 130 for heavy rainfall expected in hill areas and 260 to 390 where average elevation is 1000 mm above sea level, and in plain area it is 1 station for 520 kilometer square. Then optimum rain gauge network design, there is one formula N, that is optimum number of rain gauges. N is equal to CV divided by P whole bracket square. N is equal to optimum number of rain gauge stations, CV is coefficient of variation, and P is degree of percentage of error in estimate of depth of rainfall over the basin. Then mean/average depth of rainfall. There are various methods to calculate mean or average depth of rainfall, means precipitation. First is the arithmetical mean method. If P1, P2, P3 and like that Pn are the average values of precipitation at rain gauge station 1, 2, 3 and n respectively, then average rainfall is calculated by formula summation P divided by n, where n is equal to number of rain gauge stations and summation P means summation of all precipitations, that is P1 plus P2 plus P3 plus Pn. This method is rough and does not taken into account for physical and topographical conditions. This is the straightforward method, arithmetical mean method. Second is the Thiessen polygon method, or it is also termed as a weighted mean method. This method is very popular in competitive type of examinations. Look at this figure. These four are the rain gauge stations. This is the A rain gauge station, this is B rain gauge station, this is C rain gauge station, and this is D rain gauge station in particular area. Then all these rain gauge stations are connected by the straight lines. These are connected, all the rain gauge stations, and we have to construct the perpendicular bisector to them. This is perpendicular bisector to DC, this is perpendicular bisector to AD, this is perpendicular bisector to AB, and this is perpendicular bisector to CB. Then we will get the four types of polygons. This is the first type of polygon which contains the rain gauge station A. This is the second which contains the rain gauge station B. This is the third which contains the rain gauge station C. And this is the fourth which contains the rain gauge station D. Then we have to, such a type of four polygons or network of four polygons is considered as a Thiessen's network, and each Thiessen's polygon contains the rain gauge station. Find the area of each polygon, multiply the area by rain gauge value of precipitation, find the total area of basin and compute the average precipitation by formula A1 multiplied by P1 plus A2 multiplied by P2 plus A3 multiplied by P3 plus A4 multiplied by P4, that is summation of AP divided by summation of A. We will get the average rainfall. Then third method is the isohedral method. Isoheight is the line joining the points of equal rainfall over the map of basin. Measure the area between the isohead by planimeter. If this is the first isohead, this is the second isohead, this is the third isohead, then we have to measure the area between the isoheads with the help of planimeter. Okay, and multiply this area by the average rainfall between these isoheads. If this has a 10 rainfall, this has a 11 rainfall, then average value is 10 plus 11 divided by 2, that is 10.5. Whether value is in mm or cm, we have to confirm that. Okay, and the average rainfall is calculated by summation of A into bracket P1 plus P2 divided by 2 and whole divided by summation of A. We get the average rainfall. Okay, and for more details and more notes, you contact my administrator also. My email ID is also given to you. Then you can write me on the email ID also, and don't miss my further lectures on the hydrology to know the subject in detail and also to get some marks in competitive type of examination. So please subscribe my channel and listen my lectures till the end to get the ideas clear. Till then, bye bye. See you. Bye.